Radharamana Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radharamana Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radharamana Govinda Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radharamana Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda 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 Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radharamana Govinda Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radharamana Govinda Jaya 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 Gopala Jaya Radharamana Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radharamana Govinda Jaya Govinda 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Prabhu can slightly adjust the audio part because it is slightly fluctuating. Maybe you are a bit far from the mic. I don't know if it is possible to adjust the volume or the instrument.
Yeah, I gave the volume to the end. You can hear me now.
Let's see, Prabhu, how it goes as we continue. Maybe it's because of the Kirtan, you appear to be slightly far from audio. So let us start and then we'll see how it goes, Prabhu.
Yes.
So thank you very much, all the devotees, for attending today's session, and we humbly welcome His Grace Vraja Krishna Prabhu to our Chaitanya Charitamrita study class. Prabhu is a great personality. I've been associating with Vraja Krishna Prabhu for almost 2 decades, I think. Almost 2 decades. So Prabhu is a great Kirtaniya, as we just witnessed. He is doing wonderful preaching in Bulgaria and kind of, I can say, around the world. Because Prabhu is traveling very frequently, and his main pull for the devotees, the people into ISKCON, is through his Kirtan. He does excellent, wonderful kirtans, and Prabhuji is a disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj. So Prabhu has very great experiences with his spiritual master and how he came to Krishna consciousness. His amazing lila, which many times he explained, and it's really our fortune that Prabhu is with us today. He's a very busy person because he does a lot of preaching, a lot of kirtans in Bulgaria, and he himself is running a Gauranga Yoga Institute, if I'm correct. Yeah. So he's doing wonderful preaching service in his own small setup he has made, and he is attracting so many locals that is very difficult. So because they're all tuned to a different type of living standards. So it is not easy, but Prabhu is doing wonderful service to Srila Prabhupada and his spiritual master. Thank you very much, Rajikesh Prabhu, for being with us, and request you to please take over from here. And we are all waiting to hear more and more glorification of Lord Chaitanya Prabhu. And we clean, please help us in cleaning our Guņḍicā. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Over to you.
Prabhupada. Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Can you hear me now, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Audio is okay. You can.
Okay. All right. So we are studying Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, and today I was supposed to speak on the text 11 onward, right? Yeah. Okay. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So text 11. Bhattacharya Patri Deki Chintita Hana Bhaktagana Pasagela Sei Patrila. Translation. When the Bhattacharya received this letter, he became very anxious. He then took the letter and went to the devotees of the Lord. Text 12. Savare Milia Kahila Raja Vivarana Piche se Patri Savar Karila Darshana. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya met with all the devotees and described the king's wishes. Then he presented the letter to all of them for inspection. Patri deki savarmane khaila vismaya Prabhupade gajapatira eka bhakti haya. Upon reading the letter, everyone was astonished to see that King Prataparudra had so much devotion for the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 14. Sabe kahe Prabhu tandre kabu na milibe Ami saba kahi adi dukha se manibe. The devotees gave their opinion and said, the Lord will never meet the king. And if we requested him to do so, the Lord will surely feel very unhappy. Sarvabhauma kahe sabe chala ekabara, milite na kahiba raja vyavahara. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then said, we shall go once again to the Lord, but we shall not request him to meet the king. Rather, we shall simply describe the good behavior of the king. Etabali sabegela mahaprabhura stane kahite unmukha sabe na kahe vachane. Having thus reached a decision, they all went to the place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There, although ready to speak, they could not even utter a word. Text 17. Prabhu kahe ki kahite sabara gamana, dekiye kahite chaha na kaha ki karana. After they arrived at Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's place, the Lord, seeing them, said, What have you all come here to say? I see that you want to say something, but you do not speak. What is the reason? Nityananda kahe tomaya chahi vedite, na kahile rahite nari kahite bhayachite. Nityananda Prabhu then said, we want to tell you something, although we cannot say without speaking, stay without speaking. We are still very much afraid to speak. Text 19. Yoga yoga tomaya sabha chahi nivedite, tomana milite raja chahe yogi hoite. We want to submit before you something that may or may not be befitting. The matter is this: unless he sees you, the king of Orissa will become a mendicant. Text 20. Kane mudra lai muni haiva bhikkhari, Raja Boga Nahichite Vina Gaurahari. Nityananda Prabhu continued. The king has decided to become a mendicant and accept the sign of a mendicant by wearing an ivory earring. He does not want to enjoy his kingdom without seeing the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purport. In India, there is still a class of professional mendicants who are very much like the gypsies of the Western countries. They know some magical art and mystical processes, and their business is to beg from door to door, sometimes pleading and sometimes threatening. Such mendicants are sometimes called yogis and sometimes kanapata yogis. The word kanapata refers to one who has put a hole in his ear to wear an earring made of ivory. Maharaj Prataparudra was so depressed by not getting to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he decided to become such a yogi. Ordinary men think that a yogi must have an ivory earring in his ear. But this is not the sign of a real yogi. Maharaj Prataparudra also taught that to become a mendicant yogi, one must wear such an earring. Om Aginati Mirandasya Gyanjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manabhistam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhescha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai. This is a very, very beautiful lila. So here we are at this point of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Madhya Lila, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had just gotten back from the South Indian tour, where he practically converted all the cities and villages, and everyone that saw him became a devotee of Lord Krishna. So this was an amazing, very powerful feat. to convert so many people into Vaishnavism. And when he returned, Lord Chaitanya's glories were already being carried even before his return to Puri, to Dasa. At this time, King Prataparudra, knowing, understanding who Lord Chaitanya is, he immediately wanted to become somewhat connected to the Lord, and he wanted to get the dust of his lotus feet. He wanted to get his darshan. But of course, as a king, that was very difficult. In the olden times, in the Vedic culture, a king and a sannyasi were two opposite things and two opposite ideas, two opposite personas that had nothing to do in common, and they never practically met. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even if he was requested by the devotees, he would immediately refuse, because for a sannyasi to go and meet a king was tantamount to some form of corruption or some form of deviation from his vows to be renounced. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he went to King Prataparudra, and the king told him, please try to arrange for me to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Sarvabhauma knew very well the mind of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he knew Lord Chaitanya will refuse. So he immediately told the king, this is impossible, I cannot really make this happen. And then immediately the king had taken a decision. He told Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that if you do not make arrangement for me to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I will immediately renounce my kingdom. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became very, very perplexed, very much worried, because King Prataparudra was a very wonderful ruler, and in the kingdom everything was intact. There was a law in order. The kingdom was protected from invaders and from thieves and people who would do crime, any kind of crime, because King Prataparudra was a very strict and powerful Kshatriya. And the duty of a Kshatriya, according to Vedic culture, is to defend the citizens. The king was actually a devotee of Krishna, and that made it even more special. But because the king was a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, that made him even more and more special. So therefore, King Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very much in a very, very difficult situation. He was put in the middle of these two forces, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and King Prataparudra. So he was wondering, how should I resolve this great difficulty? If the king leaves the kingdom, then immediately there will be havoc, and we may be plundered, and we may be attacked by invaders, and so on and so forth. So this is very, very unwanted. And if I demand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to see the king, then Mahaprabhu may leave, and then we will be completely broken-hearted by the departure of the Lord. So you can imagine how difficult situation this was. So when we have difficulties, we should always go to consult the devotees. And that's what Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya did. He went to the devotees with the letter written by Maharaj Prataparudra. He read the letter to them, and the devotees were completely astonished at the devotion and the level of surrender and faith that Maharaj Prataparudra had in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to such a degree that he didn't want to keep his position if he was neglected by the Lord. So the devotees started to think. They had a council meeting, how to resolve this situation. And finally they decided, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya suggested, let us go and just without asking the Lord to meet the king, we should try to narrate the glories of the king, how good person he is, so that maybe we can soften up gradually Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they decided and they went to meet him. And however, when they arrived, they were very much silent, and everyone was wondering how should we start this conversation and what should we say. So they were very much little bit shy to begin. And it was a very strange situation because devotees are usually jubilant and happy, and they will always converse with Mahaprabhu immediately after they saw him. But this time they just offered their obeisances and sat around Mahaprabhu and just kept silent. And Mahaprabhu was thinking, this is really strange. Why are you all so silent? Why don't you say something? It looks like you want to say something, but you don't know how to say it. So then, making the situation a little bit more comfortable for them to talk, Lord Nityananda began to speak slowly, choosing very carefully his words. And he explained to the Lord that this is the situation. We are put in a very difficult, in a very great challenge by Maharaj Prataparudra. He would like to take a darshan of you, but we know that you will be unhappy. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was astonished at the devotion of the Maharaj Prataparudra and his firm decision to renounce the kingdom. But at the same time, he externally showed unhappiness. He chastised the devotees and he said to them, that will happen just a few verses later. He said to them, so what do you want me to go and see the king in Cuttack? Personally to go and see him? So the devotees understood that the Lord is unhappy. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, so what will the people say about it if I go there? That Mahaprabhu has gone to see the king. And moreover, what will my servant Damodar say about it, who is always criticizing? So in that way, Lord Chaitanya expressed his unhappiness externally. But again, of course, internally, he was very pleased by the mood of this great devotee, Prataparudra Maharaj. So, like I said, this is the position of a Kshatriya. He has to defend the citizens. And even Krishna himself, he was born in a family of Kshatriyas, Devaki and Vasudeva in Mathura. but of course he was transferred to Vrindavan. So when King Kamsa challenged Krishna to the wrestling match, Krishna had to go there, and after that he remained in Mathura. He regained his position of a king, and then later on he went to Dwarka, and of course he would execute the role of a king. He fought many demonic kings who attacked Mathura, and he defended Mathura. So this is the duty of the king, and Krishna himself showed what the role of a king should be. Although we know that Shri Krishna is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared in the family of Vasudeva and Devaki in disguise. Krishna looked just like an ordinary child. Sometimes the Mayavadis, Prabhupada says, the Mayavadis think that we are all God, and they think that Krishna was just an ordinary person with some great yogic abilities. But Srila Prabhupada explains how Shri Krishna, when he was born, the unborn, Krishna is unborn, but again, the unborn, out of kindness and compassion for the fallen jivas, he appears in this material world to save the jivas. So the unborn, he appears to be born in this world. And when Krishna appeared in the jail of Kamsa in front of Devaki and Vasudeva, he immediately appeared with 4 arms to show his position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so the Mayavadis, they are affected by Mahamaya, while the devotees, they're affected by Yogamaya. So when Devaki saw this form of the 4-armed form of Krishna, Lord Narayan, she still was so afraid about her child, and she was thinking, my little child is in danger, Kamsa will come to kill him any moment. So Srila Prabhupada explains that this is because she had this motherly affection under the influence of the Yoga Maya. She never saw Krishna to be the Supreme Person, although she saw him with the 4 arms. And similarly, later on, Mother Yashoda, when she received Krishna, Prabhupada explains, she also never saw him as God. She saw him as her own child. And Srila Prabhupada explains the story how once the children complained to Yashoda that Shri Krishna ate earth. And Mother Yashoda called Krishna and told him, Krishna, you eating earth? And Krishna said, no, I'm not eating earth. And then Balaram said, no, he's eating earth. It's true. And Krishna said that to his mother, the children are saying like this because they are envious of me. And Balaram is saying like this because he's angry with me. But actually, I haven't eaten earth. So then Yashoda told him, just open your mouth. And when Krishna opened his mouth, Yashoda saw the whole universe inside. And she was amazed. And she even saw herself inside the universe with all the planets and all the devatas. And she saw this beautiful universal form. She was completely mesmerized. But then she thought, no, I fell into some kind of illusion. And she immediately, again, under the influence of Yoga Maya, she came to her duty as mother, and she immediately thought, Krishna is my child. she immediately pushed away the thought that this could be God. So the Mayavadis, they think that Krishna is just like us, but the devotees, they understand that Krishna is not like us. They understand Krishna is the Param Satyam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Swayam Bhagavan, and they completely desire to serve him and his devotees. So such was the mood of Maharaj Prataparudra. He knew who Krishna was, and he knew who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was, and that's why he was so so much firmly convinced that either he gets the mercy of Mahaprabhu, or either he will just abandon the kingdom to become a mendicant. So hopefully when he becomes a mendicant, then Mahaprabhu will be merciful upon him and he can take his darshan. So Srila Prabhupada explains that when the jiva is in this material world, under the influence of Maya, he thinks that he's the enjoyer and the proprietor of this material world. And then when he gets frustrated with the attempts to enjoy, then the jiva wants to renounce. And he thinks, I'm now going to renounce. I'll become a sannyasi. I'll reject this world. And Prabhupada quotes the verse that is given by Shankaracharya, Brahma Satya Jagat Mitya. So, you know, Shankara was so strict that he took sannyas at the age of 7. And if someone was not a sannyasi, he could not meet Shankaracharya. So, but Prabhupada explains the devotees understand that we don't have anything. We came barehanded and we leave barehanded. So Prabhupada says, what can you renounce? So here the point with Maharaj Prataparudra is the same. What can he renounce? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thinking, you know. It's explained in this verse. Nityananda Prabhu is saying that the king is decided to become a mendicant and to put ivory earring in his ears, and in that way become a yogi mendicant. So Mahaprabhu, he was thinking what kind of a mendicant he can become, what kind of a yogi he can become, what he can renounce. Nothing belongs to him, everything belongs to the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada explains that the proper consciousness of a devotee is actually everything belongs to the Lord and I manage it on his behalf. I'm not the proprietor, and therefore if I'm not the proprietor, I cannot renounce it, because I cannot renounce something that is not mine, you know. So that is called Maya, to think this is mine and I'll renounce it and then I'll become a devotee or something like that. So the proper utilization of everything is to understand everything belongs to the Lord and I shall use everything in his service. So this is what Srila Prabhupada makes a point that just the point of renunciation, of giving up the world, is not a symptom of advancement in spiritual life. The symptom of advancement in spiritual life is humility and practicing devotional service under all circumstances, no matter how difficult it can be. If one does not give up his practice, that means he's an advanced devotee. So this is very, very important to be understood. And we all have to become advanced devotees, because sometimes in life we will definitely meet with difficulties, and there will be some situations where we will have some struggles in life, so we need to be steady and keep our Krishna consciousness and develop our Krishna consciousness, and keep practicing. So in that way, this is a symptom of an advanced person. I think Suryadev is standing here on me, making it difficult for me to see. I'm sorry for that. Just got sidetracked a little bit. But we go back to the point that Maharaj Prataparudra cannot really become a devotee just by renouncing. So we will see how Mahaprabhu will arrange for the Maharaj to remain in his position, but also satisfy his urge to take his darshan and do some seva. So when the Ratha Yatra festival began, Maharaj Prataparudra very humbly took the broom and started sweeping in front of the chariot of Jagannath. And in that way, he gained even more of the favor of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is how we become endeared to the Lord, is simply through humble service. If we think I can become endeared to the Lord by some great feats or some great renunciation or some great opulent offerings, Krishna is not interested in some opulence because he's the most opulent person. He's Swayam Bhagavan, as we said earlier on. So if we try to offer Krishna some wealth or some riches or whatever, or if we try to attract Krishna with show bottle renunciation, if we think we're renouncing something that doesn't belong to us, then Krishna will not be satisfied. Krishna is simply satisfied with our humble service. This should be our understanding. So, and in that way, through humble service, we can approach the lotus feet of the Lord. And even more so, if we perform humble service at the lotus feet of the devotees of the Lord. The Lord is even more pleased if we offer service to a devotee of the Lord. So this is his greatest mercy in this world, is the presence of the devotees. The holy name is the Lord personified. But when there are devotees, there is immediately kirtan. So the holy name is already included within the sadhusanga, we can say. And that's why it is so important for us to associate with devotees and to serve devotees with humility. Sometimes we go to the temple in ISKCON and we should always ask the devotees what seva I can do to help them and serve them in some way, so then we can gain the favor of the Lord. Believe me, it is really amazing when we serve the Vaishnavas, how much blessings come our way and how much spiritual advancement one can make, how close we can go to the Lord. Just like Maharaj Prataparudra, he was very, very far away from Lord Chaitanya in terms of his position and stature in society. But because of this genuine desire to serve, he became so endeared to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he was allowed later on, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took little rest, after dancing for long, long hours in front of the chariot of Jagannath. Lord Chaitanya took some rest in the garden. I believe it was the Guņḍicā temple garden. And then Maharaj Pratapa Rudra, advised by the devotees, he dressed himself as a Vaishnava in a simple vesha, and he went to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu while Mahaprabhu was pretending that he was sleeping. And then Maharaj Pratapa Rudra was able personally to massage his feet. And of course, none of the people, the onlookers, realized who this person who was massaging Mahaprabhu's feet was, because he was dressed in a different way. And in that way, Maharaj Pratapa Rudra concealed his identity for the people, so that there is no criticism of Mahaprabhu, and at the same time he got the mercy of the Lord. So we can see how merciful is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that even if one is not very qualified, even if he is not qualified at all, Mahaprabhu will find a way to give his mercy. And what comes to my mind is the story of Jagai and Madhya. They were completely ridiculous criminals, both of them. So Jagai and Madhya, as you know, they practically the whole Odisha was, the whole Navadvip was very much affected by their behavior. So by the mercy of the devotee Haridas Thakur, and by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu especially, they were converted into great Vaishnavas who became so humble from these tremendous drunkards and criminals. They became so humble that they took the service of washing the feet of the Vaishnavas when they arrived at the Ganges River to take bath. So this is the greatness of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he can take someone from the lowest position and he can elevate him to some very great status of devotion. And this is what this section is all about, showing the mercy of Mahaprabhu upon someone who apparently is unqualified because of his social status position, in this case the position of a ruler like Maharaj Pratapa Rudra. So just one more thing, and then I'll take some questions from the devotees. This is the Guņḍicā section, cleansing of the Guņḍicā temple. So it is very interesting how when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to clean the Guņḍicā temple with his devotees the day before the Ratha Yatra began, the day before Jagannath was pulled from the main temple to the Guņḍicā temple, to clean the place for Jagannath was required huge quantities of water. So Maharaj Pratapa Rudra arranged also for this water to be supplied to the Lord and his devotees. And the servants of the king actually carried personally water. Prabhupada explains, from the nearby water tank. They carried huge amounts of water so that the temple can be clean. And the procedure was so meticulous by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that the whole temple was shining. Prabhupada explains, Mahaprabhu didn't want even one little grain of sand remaining on the floor, which shows the level of purity that the level of devotion Mahaprabhu had for Jagannath, for Lord Krishna. Of course, he was Krishna in the mood of a devotee. He was showing us how to be a devotee. So this is very, very important, the Guņḍicā and lila, because it shows how we need to be meticulous in our seva, how we should always try to improve our service to the Lord, and in that way we can actually gain His mercy. We can gain His darshan. So Suredev is giving me more and more challenges here. So once I was hearing a lecture by Jayapataka Maharaj many years ago, and he was emphasizing how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cleaned with his devotees the Guņḍicā temple, but also Maharaj made the point that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked the devotees to clean the temple from the outside as well, around the temple. So in that way, even outside, the temple should be very much clean and neat. So this is the tremendous affection and devotion that we need to have for the lotus feet of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees. I'll be happy to take some questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for a wonderful explanation of this. This lila itself is so sweet. The pastime of King Prataparudra, Sarvabhaumacharya, Jnana Prabhu, Rachit Mahaprabhu, and the whole episode of cleaning the Guņḍicā temple. So it is, I say sometimes for me it is mysterious. Mainly the episode of King Prataparudra Prabhu, though we say we have so many justifications and explanations we try to offer. Many people ask me also question, why Chidama Prabhu is so harsh with King Prataparudra. We have justification, we give explanations, but somehow, personally, I feel it is injustice. Of course, Lord Chaitanya Prabhu, it is a lila, but as a devotees, when we see this from a devotee's perspective, Lord Chaitanya Prabhu is giving mercy to so many people. During his South India tour, he didn't discriminate who is a materialist, who is not materialist. He went on giving mercy free. He delivered so many people. And even before that, Pundrik Vidyanidhi externally appears to be materialist, externally, because he is a kind of a very opulent dressing and eating a pan, betel leaf, and so externally appears to be very highly materialistic. And Ramananda, he was a governor, and he claims himself as a Shudra. So he appears to be externally materialist. With all of these people, King Lord Chaitanya Prabhu is fine, okay. But King Prataparudra, moment he sees he talks about King Prataparudra, says, no, I cannot meet kings, I cannot meet materialists because I'm a sannyasi. So we understand this is a lila, and we want to highlight the glories of Lord King Prataparudra also in the whole episode. But sometimes we feel it is injustice for King Prataparudra. So how to understand this, Prabhu? So can you throw some light on this?
So thank you, Ramananda Kanai Prabhu. Very beautiful and deep question. we can see that the Lord reacts in different situations, as you pointed out, differently. Like Desha, Kala, and Patra, it's all different. Different time, different place, different circumstance. He had a different type of behavior. So at this point, particularly, he wanted to increase the devotion of Maharaj Prataparudra and to increase his yearning to meet him. And that's why sometimes when the Lord wants to increase the devotion of someone, he can put some obstacle in front of him and to see whether the person will be stopped by this obstacle or the person will be even more inspired to move through the obstacle. So that was also a dynamic to show the devotees, the cooperation of devotees, how they, when they had a challenge, they came together to think how to resolve this challenge. So there are a couple of lessons in this. So sometimes Krishna would withdraw himself to see how will the devotees respond. And if they respond in a humble way and if they continue serving him, even from a distance while he has withdrawn, then he will come back to them. He will give them his mercy. So I think the depth of this situation is going in that direction, because as you pointed, he gave mercy in South India to everyone without discrimination. He gave mercy to Jagai Madhya. And he wanted to see how much conviction has Maharaj Prataparudra for taking darshan and coming closer to Mahaprabhu, and how much mercy his devotees will have upon him as well. Because the devotees' mercy actually made that connection possible. Because they canvassed, in front of Mahaprabhu for Prataparudra. So here we can learn the importance of sadhu sangha and sadhu seva. And when we serve the sadhus, the Vaishnavas, then definitely Krishna takes interest in us. So I think this is what Mahaprabhu is trying to show at this point. Withdrawing himself a little, he wants to see how much determination we have. And second, he wanted to show us how much, even in a difficult situation, by taking shelter of the devotees and by the mercy of the devotees, taking shelter of them, then the jiva, the soul that is being distanced from the Lord, can be brought closer to Krishna through the mercy of the devotees. So this is a specific lesson according to this Desha, Kala, and Patra. And it may look like an injustice initially, or like a double standard behavior of Mahaprabhu, but we know that the Lord is the epitome of bhakti, epitome of prema, and we know that within him there is no evil. We know within him there is no ill intentions. There is no also bad behavior or just whimsical behavior, just like jiva under the influence of the illusory energy may behave badly sometimes and be proud. No, I don't need this person, and they're great. No, not that. Mahaprabhu is simply trying to stir the devotion of Maharaj Prataparudra and churn it up and make it even more expanded and make him even more humble to take shelter of the Vaishnavas so that they could make the arrangements for him to achieve his goal of taking darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course, this was a very special mercy that he gave him, because if you look at it, all the people of South India, they got prema. They danced with him and chanted and had kirtan and ecstatic kirtans with Mahaprabhu. But not all of them touched the lotus feet of the Lord. So this was a very, very special lila, and this is what the lesson is, I think. The withdrawal, the obstacle that the Lord puts is to see how much we are affectionate for him and how much determination we have to reach him. And then he wants to show us again, I'm repeating myself, to show us how much we should take shelter of the devotees when there is an obstacle, and serve the devotees in humility, and then through that, how quick one can gain the mercy of the Lord. I think this is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is exemplifying in this moment. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. It's clear. Mataji, have a question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Sorry for this light. I don't know what happened this morning.
Accept my humble obeisances. Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Sorry?
Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yes, I can hear you.
Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can
Prabhuji,
hear you.
as you were talking about G. Prabhuji, I just wanted to know regarding Mahaprabhu's mercies. As you said, it is without discrimination. But in deputy also you said. So Prabhuji, my question is that there are different kinds of devotees. Some are casual, some are covered, and some are committed devotees. So isn't mercy there more on committed devotees because of their flawless surrender and their prema towards Lord? I just want to know this. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, it's a very wonderful point that you're making, Mataji. Dandavats to you. You see, Prabhupada says the rain cloud is distributing water equally everywhere. On the sea, even on the land, the water falls equally everywhere. And that is the mercy of the Lord. However, Prabhupada uses another example to explain how some people are not taking advantage of that. For example, the sun. Here is the sun. The sun is giving the light to everyone. But some person, he may not take advantage. He may be awake at night and sleep in the day, so he will not see the sun. So we require to be positioned to get the mercy of the Lord. So if we have a good position, then we will receive the mercy. The mercy is there for everyone. So we require to position ourselves in the best way possible, like you pointed, in humble seva to the Vaishnavas. And then immediately the sun of Krishna will shine on us. And those who are not in the service of Vaishnavas, the sun of Krishna will shine little less. They may be little in the shadow. And those who are not serving the Vaishnavas, they will be completely in the darkness. So although the sun is there, but everyone is choosing where to be according to their level of consciousness. So definitely the mercy is fully there for everyone, but it depends on us to actually come forward to receive this mercy. So this is my humble opinion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Prabhuji, you're saying it is the best way how to receive it wholeheartedly with prema and open arms, and that's also an art, you know.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Yes,
Mm,
thanks a lot.
that open heart is the heart of gratefulness. That thank you to the devotees for giving me seva. Like you now, Ramananda Kanai Prabhu invited me to speak. So this is a seva that I could do to the devotees. And I'm grateful. So that gratitude is the open door to receive the mercy. Because sometimes we may do seva, but we may be unhappy begrudgingly, and then we may be doing seva, but if our mood is grudging and not really happy that, oh, I've got the service of the Lord, then again we're blocking that mercy. Although we physically executing the service, but if we're kind of feeling, no, I deserve better service or something like that, we are blocking the mercy of the Lord. I remember, I'll tell you one uh, personal experience that I have from my early days as devotee. Don't know how many years ago it was. It was many, many years ago, almost 30 years back. So when I went to the temple in South Africa, in Cape Town, for the first time, and at some point I saw that the devotees needed some seva with the kitchen washing the pots, because there was a lot of cooking happening there. And the devotees had to go on Sankirtan, so it was very difficult for them. They had hired some lady, and they were paying some money to this lady to actually clean, but she was working 5 days a week. So sometimes Saturday and Sunday there was nobody there. So and the devotees would do Sankirtan even Saturday and Sunday. In the day, they will go to the townships to distribute food for life, prasad, and do kirtan, harinam, etc. So I saw that they're struggling, to manage the cleanliness. And then I just, even without them asking me to do it, I just took up that service on my own. And then, because sometimes I had to wash 5 hours pots, these big pots, food for life, a whole human being can go inside in the pot. I was washing them alone, and then another many different dishes that they cook for the deities and the devotee prasadam and so on and so forth. And sometimes it can take me like 5 hours to finish everything. So I did this service for many years practically, and there was a time when I completely took up this service, even when there was nobody being paid to do that service. I took up that service and did it on my own. So because of this seva that I did, some humble seva, I did it with happiness. Like I wasn't feeling angry. No, I should go on Sankirtan, or I should do deity worship or whatever. I should be given some higher level service. No, I was feeling so happy to get the seva of the Lord. And I kept washing and washing dishes and serving the Vaishnavas like that in great happiness and gratitude. And because of this seva for this so many years. I think the Lord gave me the opportunity to do so much Sankirtan later on. And I'm continuing to do, even to such a degree that I opened a center, preaching center that's called Goranga Yoga Institute in my hometown. You know, this is a feat that I couldn't even imagine doing before. You know? So this is how the Lord empowers someone by grateful surrender to serve the Vaishnavas.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So you're saying that we showcase our own ego and flaws if we don't accept the seva coming towards us with the acceptance, happiness, enthusiasm within us. How important it is for our Krishna conscious progress, advancement in life. Hare Krishna. Thanks a lot. Gratitude to you, Prabhuji, for giving the best answer.
Thank you, Mother. I'm so happy that this fallen jiva has been given mercy by Srila Prabhupada and the devotees. And yeah, this is the greatest treasure. If I have any treasure, this is for me to remember Krishna, to never forget him, and to be able to do some Vaishnava Seva. This is so amazing. We cannot see Krishna all the time on our low level of consciousness or devotion, but if we see the Vaishnavas and if we can serve the Vaishnavas, this is the greatest blessing in this world. So thank you for that.
Lord Krishna talks to us, Prabhuji, through his pure devotees like you only.
I'm just a beginner. Hare Krishna. I was thinking how, you know, I practice bhakti about 27 years or so, 28 maybe started. And from the point of view of Brahma, Lord Brahma, that's 27 or 28 seconds. So I don't have any qualification, you know, so, but I'm grateful that now this I am the example. I've got no qualification, but Mahaprabhu has called me and given me that mercy to Prabhupada and the Vaishnavas. So I am so grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhu, for wonderful the question and nicely answered. Devotees, do you have any other questions, comments? I think Prabhu is getting late. Any questions, comments before Prabhu disappears?
Hare Krishna. So I don't see how many devotees are there, but it says 24 devotees. So
yeah, Prabhu, we had 31 at the peak.
Okay.
So after the class, some devotees are left because it's, they have some back-to-back programs.
Yes, yeah. So thank you very much to all the wonderful devotees and thank you for keeping this Chaitanya Charitamrita class. This is very, very important to hear the Vaishnavas realizations, and we are all very nourished. I was hearing last week's class and I was so happy. So from time to time, I will also join to listen. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, please. That will be a great lesson for all of us. Your presence, sometimes whenever you're free, you can come and keep blessing us. We are doing this for last more than 8-9 years, Prabhu. Almost you can say 8-9 years we are doing, but we are not rushing. So we are going very systematically. Sometimes one verse, sometimes 10 verses, 10 slokas, but we are going right from the beginning, and we are mid of Madhya lila now. And devotees are joining from not only from Mathura Desh, Krishna Desh, from all parts of maybe some people coming from India. So all from different yatras, devotees are joining and taking out their time. Actually, many devotees are there, but somehow they got engaged with some other programs. So during this particular time, so they're not able to join. Otherwise, we had more than 60, 70 members, devotees used to attend regularly. But no, it is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as you mentioned. So those who have a desire to collect the mercy will join. So mercy is flowing. Is as you mentioned last time, it is like a running tap water. Mercy is flowing. So it is for us whether we accept with the using our hand collect the water, or pot with so many holes, or pot with no holes. So it all depending on our desire. So mercy we can accept and
Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada, he said that it is very important to spread this Krishna consciousness movement, because otherwise the human life is spoiled for most people who don't know about Krishna, about bhakti, especially bhakti, devotional service, and pure devotional service. Because even other people may have some form of bhakti, they practice some kind of religious activity. But pure bhakti is when we are following the four regulative principles, when we are engaged in seva, and that is pure bhakti, because if we are doing that, then we are actually carrying out the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and really bringing some value to this world. Otherwise, it is not going to help people. If that purity is not there. So that's why Guņḍicā temple is so important. Emphasis that even one speck of dust we should not leave, and we should even clean around the temple, which means stay in good association. That's what I understand from cleaning around the temple. Stay in good association. Don't allow the negative influences of this world to enter in the heart. So thank you very much. Again, Dandavats to all the devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. And from time to time, we'll be able to join you, to hear from you also, not just to talk. I'd like to hear the Vaishnavas' nectar. Whatever they share is like a beautiful nectar. Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for accepting our request. Thank you, devotees, for attending today's session. So we'll conclude the session here. Then we'll continue. Prabhu, you start.